Hello, Monetization Nation. In the previous episode, I shared an interview with Mark Morris, a Harvard MBA and highly successful business management consultant. This episode is part 2 of my interview with Mark. In this episode, Mark shares stories and secrets about how entrepreneurs and CEOs can leverage crowdfunding platforms and video to raise necessary capital without having to give up any equity. Tectonic shifts are constantly transforming the earth and business, causing destruction and huge growth opportunities. I'm Nathan William, the host of Monetization Nation, where we learn how to leverage business tectonic shifts to transform monetization. So you had another story or two that you wanted to share.
Yeah, at least one more. So I know we were talking about video and the importance of video, and I was thinking about that and one of my experiences with social fundraising that I thought might be interesting. I know we're living in an era where you can go directly to the public to raise your funds and do that in a way that allows you to maintain more control of your company potentially. And the most well-known companies that help do that are companies like Kickstarter and GoFundMe. And one of the companies I'd worked with in the past was one of the early starters of this movement of social media fundraising. The name of the company was Fundly, and it actually grew out of the Mitt Romney campaign initially when his 2008 campaign that he wasn't the presidential nominee for the Republican Party, but after there was a solution created to take advantage of social networks to enable fundraising, and after his campaign ended, there was more calls to use this platform to take advantage of fundraising, and in order to make it even more robust, it was integrated with social media, such as with Facebook and Twitter and YouTube, so that you can tell more of a visual message. And that was what started this company by the name of Fundly. And it was one of the first to do social media fundraising. And it just reminded me of how, for them, it was about connecting with people, because the response rate was 10 times higher and the donations were substantially higher. And so all of those things, I think, might demonstrate some of the points that we've talked about in the past. One, the power of connecting with people that there is a connection with, that you naturally have a passion with, but also the importance of video to tell your story. And I think if you look at Kickstarter or GoFundMe, whether it's some new technology or new product via Kickstarter, or it's there's this local person who had a tragic injury, or a scout program, or some other social cause that you're interested in supporting, the video really helps capture the emotions and the person that you're really connected to, that makes you want to fund that campaign. And so I was just thinking about that, and how that is I think somewhat of a tectonic shift in our ability to raise funds as entrepreneurs, and test products even. I mean, as you look at potentially investing in a company that has gone through Kickstarter and has a lot of support, it's a very different value proposition, because they've taken so much risk off the table from those people who have already said that they're interested in their products.
I love it. Okay, so let me restate some of the key points that I think I just heard you say and make sure I've got this right. So number one, these crowdfunding platforms can be used for political campaigns or social causes like nonprofits trying to get donations, but they also can be used for entrepreneurs. And they can be used for entrepreneurs who can raise capital by pre-selling products instead of having to give away equity of their business.
Mm.
So they're getting the funding they need and doing it by selling instead of selling products instead of selling stock.
That's right.
I love that. That's so much of a better business model. You want to do everything you can to not give away any equity if you don't have to.
Yeah.
And
And also from a risk perspective, it just lowers risk, right? I mean, as you think about the thought of man, wouldn't you love to pre-sell your product via I think the Girl Scouts, they do it the best, right? I mean, you
yeah,
go out, you say how many cookies you want, we make this many cookies. It saves a lot of time, energy, money, and resources to know exactly how many to make.
yeah,
And similarly, if you know that there's high demand for your product, you overcome the biggest risk that most new ventures face, which is, will people buy my product? For me, the second biggest risk is, will they buy it again? But that first one, you take that risk off the table, you add value to the table.
yeah, I love it. Plus, by doing this crowdfunding campaign, you're adding a bandwagon effect as well. You're adding credibility as these clients or potential clients see that lots of other people have purchased it. It kind of helps you build buzz and build momentum for your product even before you have to buy it. So that helps in the marketing, just that so many other people have chosen to go forward with the product.
Yeah, yeah.
And then I love your point about the social element. As people donated to Mitt's campaign and were able to post out socially, were they able to post out socially in Mitt's campaign, or this was after his
Not
campaign?
that they added that as part of the new platform for Fundly, and that posting out socially encouraged. So they did other campaigns afterwards. One of their bigger clients was, I think, Habitat for Humanity. They were later bought by GoFundMe. But this ability to kind of share with my network, hey, this is what I'm interested in, and invite them to also contribute. I think they said 10 times a higher response rate than if, say, the organization was to reach out.
Okay, so let me restate that, make sure I'm understanding that correctly. You're saying that when Mitt rolled out this Fundly campaign and was doing a social crowdfunding campaign, he was able to get 10 times the response rate as compared to if he just reached out. Oh, you're probably saying were they reaching out to their friends and family that were helping do the marketing?
They were, but just to make sure the chronology is that there was the Mitt Romney campaign for 2008. It actually, they had a different platform that wasn't fully social
Right.
media enabled. But they found that the principle of being able to reach out to your network was something that they built on, and so they took that principle and put
After
it
the campaign.
into, yes, after the campaign, and that became the basis for other, both political campaigns as well as other nonprofit related campaigns that they then wrapped the social media around, and through the social media, as they posted through Facebook and other platforms, they were able to have this 10 times more effect in terms of the responses.
Right. Okay. So like the Habitat for Humanities.
Correct.
Okay. So the concept is allowing people who care about your cause, your business, whatever it is, they're passionate customers, or passionate about the cause, allowing them to use their social network to help raise money for you. And the reason that is so successful, I'm guessing, is because instead of me reaching out to people who don't know me and trust me as a business, this is allowing people who are passionate about my business or my cause to reach out to their friends and family who already trust them, who already have an established credibility with them. And so I'm able to bridge the credibility gap with new customers by getting my customers to do that reaching out for me and having their credibility flow through to those people that don't know me yet.
Yeah, it basically is removing or oftentimes there are boundaries or hurdles that are built to that cause our evangelists for our products, that people that love our product not to be able to share why they love or what they love. So this is an enabling technology to say, hey, to let others know about your passion. You can do that at a click of a button. And it naturally integrates with these other social media platforms that you're already involved in, and allows you to share that message more broadly. Whereas before it might be harder to do that.
I love it. That's great. And so that definitely fits within the tectonic shift in the book that we talk about, the bridging the credibility gap tectonic shift. And you were talking about how it also fits in the video section. And so your point there is that most of those fundraising campaigns, almost all of those successful fundraising campaigns, have a video. They have an explainer video at the top, and so leveraging that video through those crowdfunding campaigns has proven to be incredibly effective. Is that correct?
Both we can use the word campaign loosely, because whether it's hey, this is the cause I'm interested in, or this is the product I'm looking to launch, or this is the person I'm looking to support. Oftentimes there's this video. I remember there was a BYU Hawaii student that I had talked to after he had graduated, and I think he raised $100,000 for a wood watch. I think it was called the Big Woody or something like that. But it was all about the video. Those watches existed before. The effort to make those, I mean, he didn't personally manufacture them, so he bought them and resold them, but he told a great story, and it was the telling of the story and the lifestyle that this watch represented through his video that really is why people were interested in it, and that's generally true for many of the things we see. Some things are brand new, but most things are not brand new, right? It's not like it hasn't existed before, but it's new to us. And for me, that's one of the things that I think is different when we say awareness in marketing. It's kind of the top of the marketing funnel. There's a difference between, hey, this exists, and I'm aware that I need that in my life. Right. And so that type of awareness often is best demonstrated through video and music and other things that emote beyond text on a page.
Okay, I love it. Those are some great points. And video is just the most effective way to do it. Yeah. I guess maybe you could make an argument that in person is a better way to do it. But you then have to do it, you're limited by who can actually physically be there. If you want to reach the masses, video is the best way to do it.
And when you do video, you can edit.
Yeah, that's true. And you can have a second take. That's right.
So like many things that if I say it in person, it takes me, maybe 10 minutes to say what I could edit down to a 90-second, really powerful strip with music, which actually carries a lot of emotion. And so you miss that in person. So I think it depends.
And the always available anytime on any device adds so much power to it, so much reach to that's not available when you have to be face to face, and you're limited to where you can physically go.
And for particularly the virability of it, right? The other thing I think, it reminds me of as I think about this, there are a lot of things that do go viral because they're funny or because they really strike a chord to the humanity of us all. Whether it's something like United Breaks Guitars, which was a video that went viral because United Airline had been seen throwing someone's guitar and ended up breaking, and they were the video described them as being kind of slow to respond to the person's complaint, and just the thought of having poor customer service, even though United 99.99% of the time always gets that right, but we all have had an experience where we've had poor customer service somewhere. It just connects it with us. Then that's one of the reasons why that went viral, even though you or I might have never had a bad experience with United. Those things that are set to music, that are funny, that are emotional, that connect to a common experience. It's easier to kind of tell that story in video and song, whereas it's harder to do that in person, and it's harder for sure to share it if it's in person or face to face or live.
So you made a great argument how video is probably even better than face to face. It's probably the best way to communicate a message.
Yeah.
Love it. Thank you for your time, your wisdom, your stories. I love it. Thank you, Mark, for sharing your stories and insights about crowdfunding and video. To connect with Mark and learn more about his consulting services, you can find a link to his LinkedIn page on the blog post for this episode at monetizationnation.com. Here are some of my top takeaways from today's episode. Number 1, crowdfunding platforms can be used effectively to help social causes and political campaigns monetize through donations. Number 2, crowdfunding platforms can also be used by entrepreneurs to pre-sell products so they don't have to give away equity in their businesses. These businesses sell products to get the money they need instead of selling stock. Number 3, crowdfunding platforms can lower risk for investors and entrepreneurs. Number 4, almost all of the successful crowdfunding campaigns have a video, which helps better capture emotion and builds connections. Number 5, crowdfunding can cause a bandwagon effect, where people want to buy our products or support our cause because they see a lot of other people already doing so. Number 6, crowdfunding platforms help bridge the credibility gap by helping our passionate fans share our products and our campaigns with their trusted connections, which helps their credibility to flow through to us. If we desire monetization we have never before achieved, we must leverage strategies we have never before implemented. I challenge each of us to pick one thing that resonated with us from today's episode and implement it to help achieve our monetization goals. When have you observed a company use crowdfunding and video effectively to raise money? Please join our private Monetization Nation Facebook group and share your insights with other digital monetizers. Do you want to become a better digital monetizer? To receive great monetization stories and secrets, please go to monetizationnation.com and join free. And if you liked today's episode, please subscribe to the show and share it.